up, beer geeks? I'm Chris Cohen.
I'm Scott Fielder.
We are advanced Cicerones and beer scholars. We're here with another side-by-side comparison of some classic styles that are more or less similar in some ways and dissimilar in others. And we're here to talk about how you can tell them apart and how they're different, how you would approach tasting them blind, and figuring out which is which.
Yep.
So we've got a classic Gose, which is a sort of light sour ale.
Yep. Got some salt, got some coriander.
Little coriander. And then we've got this Gose, which is not, or Berliner Weisse rather, which is not listed as one of the standard commercial examples in the BJCP because it has an ABV level that is a little too high.
Yeah, I think it's around 5. Yeah, whereas in the BJCP, it's 2.8 to 3.8 is the ABV range. But an interesting thing is that for you Cicerone folks out there, this is actually one of the examples they list in the German Road to Cicerone book as one that they kind of see as, you know, being an example of the style. So, I don't know. When I was studying, I would use those examples if I could, because if they wrote them in their documents and they think they're good, I think they'd
it's kind of hard to find. At least in the U.S., it's hard to find.
Oh gosh,
these commercial examples,
because all the craft places just add fruit to them or things of that nature, and obviously they're great base beers for something like that. But we thankfully have something that's just straight Berliner, so I'm excited to get into this. Yeah.
So another difference we'll just mention right out of the gate is that Berliner Weisse can have Brett.
Yes.
Gose doesn't have Brett.
Right. Most traditionalists think that there just has to be a little tiny hint. It shouldn't be like an overpowering Brettanomyces character, but just a little hint that you can get that's just going to kind of add to the complexity.
Yeah, it's going to add, can do a variety of things, but usually like a little bit of phenolic, like weird, sometimes comes across spiciness, sometimes more leathery, barnyardy, whatever. I will say in this case, here's some advice. If you have a nice mixing board, don't open one of these near it, because this one exploded all over the place.
Got a gusher.
I was like, geez, I expect that from like homebrew.
Yeah, that's right.
Not from...
And we got it from a fridge.
Yeah, it was cold.
Warm stored, yeah.
I don't know. What can you say?
All right.
Which one are you tasting?
Berliner Weisse. Let's start with the one on the left.
Okay.
See what we got here.
Huge carbonation. You can just...
Yeah, they're both obviously...
Wow, and that's after carbonated. It exploded.
Yes.
This is extremely
this has been sitting.
Carbonated.
Yeah, this has been sitting
it
for
exploded.
A solid 20-30 minutes.
Oh, it exploded. We had to clean everything up and rescue the mixer. Then we went and made coffee and chilled for a bit. And now we're back. And when I swirl this, it
forms a great, and got lots of good persistence and effervescence still.
So it was a lot of volumes of CO2 in here.
That's right.
That Brett had been going to work for who knows how long.
Yeah. But yeah, to me, the Brett character is dried hay is a big one I usually get for Brett.
Dried hay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
So, and there's a little bit of that kind of bright lemony, kind of acidity that you get from, lactobacillus treatment. Yeah.
Lactic acid in there.
Yep.
I get some of that.
Yeah, definitely got kind of the haziness of a wit beer, pretty little translucence. You can tell there's shapes behind it, but you can't really tell what it is.
Yep.
But besides that, it's pretty, and definitely the, sour character is medium. So
I'm definitely getting like a bright, fruity kind of, I want to say cherry. I know that's not normally a descriptor you use for Berliner Weisse, but...
Yeah, and the acidity, it is, there's a lingering to it. I'm trying really just to take a sip and really be mindful of that, and it's still there. And usually that's kind of that's one thing you don't always want to, at least you don't want with acidity, is usually acidity is like kind of like a big hit at the beginning, and then it should kind of temper, slowly, and this is hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got just enough vinegary.
Yep.
Like a touch of vinegary.
That's true.
Acetic acid.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got going on with.
This really has a fair amount of that like uncooked doughy malt character too, which is enhanced by that sour character, because it really it's really hit me with like this You know, when I make sourdough bread at home, and it's like, and I pull it out after it's gotten a little fermentation going on, it has like really got.
And then and for me, it's like you've got that, and then you've dusted it with, you've dusted the surface with flour, and then you're rolling it around. There's a little touch of that kind of floury character to it, baking flour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fun beer.
Check this Gose out.
All right. Yeah, definitely a shade darker. This thing is ridiculously clear.
Yeah, it's super bright clarity.
Man, and this is. I mean, there is coriander.
Yeah,
but it's like almost like there's a candied thing to this. Like this smells like. It's like there's like this lemon shandy. There's this.
Oh man,
I would even say like candied grapefruit peel.
You nailed the lemon shandy thing. It tastes like those Stiegel, or it smells like those. Is it Stiegel? I'm pronouncing that wrong. Those shandies that they.
Yeah. Very similar experience on the palate. High carbonation.
That salt is like big though.
Yeah, that's huge, and because I think it's interesting because you can definitely get a perception of sourness when you smell certain things. When you smell vinegar or that lactic acid character, and I think if you were to take these two things and have someone smell them and ask them which one they thought was going to be more sour, I think the Gose would clearly be the one with a little bit more of that perception.
Yeah.
But on the palate, you're right. The salt really helps to kind of bring it into balance.
Kind of tamps it down a little.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You're totally right about that. So, yeah, I think the perception of acidity is going to be a super spot on way to tell the difference. If you sense coriander or sea salt, that's going to be a huge one. So really be mindful, especially on your palate. It sounds like, and if you can get some of those coriander notes, and then
that's the big giveaway.
And then Brett would be the other, and then Brett would be the other big one.
Right.
So I think there's three for similar beers. I think there's three pretty darn clear, differences. So I think this is one very, very gettable.
It's very gettable.
Yeah.
Take a little bit of training, but yeah, like kind of dead giveaways.
Yes.
It's pretty obvious actually once you dig in.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Very cool side by side.
Yeah. Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.